Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, you know, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So, Martha, final, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these.
All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and here we go again. Now, I know y'all seen that train wreck interview from Kamala Harris last night. Bret Baier did an incredible job pushing back, not letting her just filibuster her way through the entire interview, just like she did. It is just so crazy. This woman is so bad and so disrespectful that she wouldn't even apologize to the families that lost their daughters. Bret Baier asked her numerous times, do you apologize to these families? And she would not say she apologized. She referred everything back to Donald Trump. So if y'all haven't watched my reaction up on that video, make sure y'all go to the top pinned comment section. I'm gonna leave it in the top pinned comment section and watch it. I absolutely went off, and I did not hold back at all. This woman is a liar. She don't need to be nowhere near that White House. She didn't earn no delegates, nothing. This woman don't need to be nowhere near there. She was so used to going to CNN, going over there to The View where Whoopi Goldberg be at, where they don't give any pushbacks, let her say anything that she want with no pushback. She was so used to that, and it didn't get her nowhere when she came to Fox. That's why I'm so happy Bret Baier did an incredible job pushing back, because all she was trying to do was yell, scream, talk over him. She didn't answer any questions. How do you go through an entire interview and don't answer nothing and just blame everything on Donald Trump? I mean, it was just so bad. She blamed the border on Donald Trump when she been in office for the last 3.5 years. So we're going to go ahead and dive straight into this. And not only did that happen, her team made her rage quit. It was more questions Bret Baier had to ask her, and Bret Baier said that he had more questions to ask her, but her team pulled her away, told her to get up, it's over with, because she was that bad. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's check this out by Benny. He got even more information on this.
Oh my God. What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. Is that panic I smell?
Panic.
This is one of my favorite Donald Trump memes ever. Part of the reason why Donald Trump is smelling panic is because, well, there is actual literal panic.
60%, baby.
Collapse is officially here. I know you're not supposed to talk about it. Everyone's like, no, don't talk about it. Don't talk about the fact that Donald Trump's up in every single swing state. That there's billions of dollars behind President Trump. That the smartest investment bankers in the world are now saying that Donald Trump is on the path to victory.
Wow.
All of the polls, all of the energy, all of the vibes is now in Donald Trump's direction.
Let's go.
Look at this. Look at this. It's not a Taylor Swift concert. It's not an NFL game. It's a Donald Trump rally in Atlanta, Georgia. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Kamala down in the 30s in her percentage chance of becoming president. Kamala Harris losing so badly that members of her own party who are running for Senate in the must-win state of Michigan are straight up saying, I'm going to not run with Kamala Harris.
About all of us running.
Democrats in Michigan are running the gauntlet. As the GOP woos blue-collar voters, the war in Gaza splits the Democratic coalition, and the economy drives voter anxiety.
How nervous are you about November?
I'm very nervous.
I'm very, very nervous. Okay, so this is the Democrat. Elisa Slotkin is the Democrat candidate in Michigan for Senate. Here's what she says.
Sells at the top of their tickets.
When the vice president comes, you go.
Slotkin is trying to show some separation despite backing the Biden-Harris agenda.
Wow.
I'm not immediately saying, rah, rah, I'm on board.
Dude, how bad is it?
It's over.
When you're just like dumb, low IQ, dorky, dopey Senate candidates are like, don't come to Michigan. I'm not on board. I'm not on board. It's dragging down all of us. You're such a nightmare.
She's bad.
Check this out. Speaking of Michigan, speaking of the Rust Belt, Kamala Harris's campaign has dramatically pulled back local television advertising in Milwaukee, reallocating those resources to Philadelphia. That's not good. The campaign is deeply concerned about the turnout and the margins there. NPR admitting that Donald Trump is once again in the driver's seat this presidential election. And this is before Kamala Harris got completely ratioed and nuked on Charlemagne the God's show and then on Fox News. So she goes on Oprah and Charlemagne the God, still gets ratioed, and then Fox News just goes and drops the people's hammer on Kamala Harris. To my Democratic friends, maybe you should consider swapping Kamala Harris for Joe Biden, says J.D. Vance.
You know that's bad when they pull Joe Biden. And she won't even answer the question about how you going to say something is mentally wrong with Donald Trump. This is what Kamala Harris, she said something is mentally wrong with Donald Trump, but yet she lied about Joe Biden's health this entire time. Knew he was incompetent. He shouldn't even been the president, basically. This man don't know what he's doing. He's tripping over his words. He's falling on stairs, and they've been hiding it for the longest. And she had the ability to get on camera and say something is wrong with Donald Trump. He shouldn't be fit to run for. Like, come on with the lies. Listen to this.
Kamala Harris wagging her finger and yelling during the Brett Baer interview.
Just bad.
Meltdown like we've never seen
Look
before.
at that. 79%.
Brett Baer saying, everyone hates you. 80% of the country thinks you're on the wrong track. Kamala Harris says, you know what I'm talking about. Brett Baer says, you actually don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Here you go right here.
It was a nightmare. It's over. I mean, I've never seen a campaign implode like this. And everyone is panicking.
Mm-hmm.
You know they're panicking. You can see it here. Barack Obama, Joe Biden at a funeral yesterday. Was it a funeral for Kamala Harris's campaign? They don't look happy, man. They don't look happy. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who's happy. Don Jr. Don Jr. is so sick of this.
Because they understand that a weak America is good for Iran, a weak America is good for China, a weak America is good for Russia. She's not going to change anything.
Nope.
It's going to be an abject disaster, Jesse.
But why can't she just say, I'm going to change? Why can't she just go out there and say, Joe was a mess. I had lunch with him. He fell asleep in his soup. I didn't want to do what he did with the border. He wanted to blow it up. I was just being a loyal foot soldier. I didn't really like what happened in the Middle East. He spent too much money. I was just there because he tapped me as VP. Why can't she just do that? It's the only thing that will allow her to survive this election. But she's clinging to this failed president like a psychopath.
Because she has no choice. Because she's on the record for the last almost 4 years saying that she was the last person in the room. She approved this. She approved that. Joe Biden said the same thing in the interviews over the last 2 weeks. They worked hand in hand. She was part of every decision. The problem is every decision has made America weaker. Every decision has made America poorer. Jesse, we went from a time of prosperity to a time of poverty. We went from a time of peace to a time of war. Ask yourself, this is the age-old question. When were you better off? When do you think your kids had a better chance? And apparently, at least 79% of Americans agree. I don't know what's going on with the other 21%, because if I take my kids to McDonald's and Donald Trump Jr. has sticker shock at McDonald's.
And you think that's bad? Don Jr. back for more bodies Kamala Harris in what is
he's right though.
Total scorched earth abandonment. Just perfect response here.
Disaster for her. She became unhinged. They're pulling her early because she got angry and couldn't answer even basic questions. She didn't just fail with Brett Baer. She failed on The View, Jesse, last week.
That's right.
Imagine.
And I just said that she failed over on The View with Whoopi Goldberg and Sonny hosting them. Just failed. I wouldn't change nothing. What would you do different from Joe Biden? Nothing comes to mind. Then she get on Fox News and say, oh, well, I'm going to be different from Joe Biden. This woman is just a fake. She's a liar. That's why she was getting so mad, because Brett Baer wasn't allowing her to give these long 2-3 minute food salads, because the only thing she was trying to do was run out the clock. Her interview was supposed to be 30 minutes. Her team cut it short because she was just getting that destroyed. She didn't answer any questions. Every time she was asked a question, she took everything back to Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump did this. Donald Trump did that. Every single question she blamed on Donald Trump. Like she didn't have nothing to do with it. Her and Joe Biden been in office 3.5 years. Donald Trump didn't cause what happened to happen. Y'all did. Y'all in power.
how bad you have to be as a Democrat to go on The View and basically commit political suicide?
Yep.
She doesn't have it. Americans understand that. She'll tell you whatever you need to hear to get that vote, but she is the daughter of a Marxist professor. She is a radical San Francisco liberal. She has been in charge for 3.5 years because she's not just a vice president. She's a vice president to the most absentee president in the history of the United States, someone who has spent over 40% of his time on the beach in Delaware, and, not to mention the dementia. She could have done any one of these things over the last 3.5 years, yet she did none of them. Why wait? Is she going to wait till day one on January 20th? Americans are suffering. Inflation is killing us. Wars are breaking out all over the world. Iran is endorsing her. Vladimir Putin is endorsing her because they understand that a weak America is good for Iran. A weak America is good for China. A weak America is good for Russia.
And to lock it all down, Vivek with the thoughtful, less of a flamethrower, more like Vivek style takedown of Kamala Harris and the stupidity of her policy position.
So, Vivek, she's asked about the sex change operations. She wants to give them to prisoners. That's just crazy. And illegals in detention. And she says, oh, it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump. What is that?
Well, I think she discovered a new line tonight, Jesse. She says, I will follow the law. So you don't want to answer a question about what the policy agenda is.
That's exactly what she did. And she finna start using it, too. So when she don't want to answer a question about if you still going to support these sex changes for these illegals and prisoners, I'm just going to follow the law. What does that mean? You're going to be the one in charge. And that lets you know right there she's not going to change a thing. Because she couldn't even say, no, I don't support that anymore. She couldn't even say it. She just said, I follow the law. I mean, this is just pitiful. And like I said, the American people see straight through this. They know this woman is not fit. Look how mad she got. Of course, Iran, Putin, all them want her to become president because they know how weak she's going to be. Look how weak it is now with her and Biden, especially her by herself with Tim Walz. They're going to run circles around her. And they know they can't do that with Donald Trump. That's why they want her to win. But it's not looking good for her. And like Vivek said, she done discovered a new word, and she finna start using it too.
Line tonight, Jesse. She says, I will follow the law. So you don't want to answer a question about what the policy agenda is. You just say, I will follow the law, as if as the president of the United States, you're not actually setting the agenda that goes through Congress in the first place. So do I favor a tax on unrealized capital gains? Well, the next question she's going to get is, I will follow the law. It's the new rote response. It's the second part of that exchange that I thought was more interesting relating to the Iran piece, where she made a statement that I think is, in a world with China, quite a statement to make, to say that Iran is the single biggest threat to the United States right now vis-a-vis China. But it made me take a step back and think about, when I think about the biggest threat to the national security of the U.S., it's actually a weak president in the White House. And that's what we saw on display in that interview. I think Brett did an outstanding job. It surprised me that Kamala Harris actually sat for that interview. And what that signals to me is that they're as worried as they probably should be. When you're going down, you want high volatility outcomes. That was a potentially high volatility interview. It didn't go well for her. And it signals to me increasing desperation in their camp. So no complacency on our side. I think that's important.
Sure.
But I think this trajectory is heading in a potentially very good direction.
I mean, these aren't hard questions. Who is the biggest threat? I mean, China is obviously a huge threat in the Pacific. They have nuclear weapons. The Russians have nuclear weapons. They're all pointed at us. We're in proxy wars with the Russians. Iran? This is a tiny country with no nukes. I don't know what she's talking about. You mentioned that things are looking okay on the ground for Donald Trump. What can you share with us quickly?
So, look, I've gone to Pennsylvania. I joined him in a couple of the rallies last week. I'm headed to Penn State tomorrow, targeting a lot of younger voters as well. You get a sixth sense from being on the ground where we're seeing an energy level that at least I have not seen in my lifetime. Miles, tens of miles, people just lining up. And a lot of those low propensity voters, I think, are what could move this election in a really big way, Jesse. People who have not been reliable voters in the past, those are the people that are disproportionately breaking actually for Donald Trump. So we could be in for a surprise where historically in 2016, you saw Donald Trump trailing the Senate candidates. Now you're actually seeing the opposite. For Republican Senate candidates, Donald Trump's overperforming them. This could set up for a landslide unifying possibility for the country.
He said the L word.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for it.
Okay, he said the L word. And he hasn't seen energy like this in his lifetime, and he's 25.
Yeah.
Vivek
I'll take the compliment,
Good
man.
to see you.
What's that? Panic I smell?
Panic. Panic.
Make the meme real. Make the meme real. Make libs cry again. So close.
Shout out to Benny for another great video. As y'all can see, Don Jr., man, he just absolutely went off. He see it. It was just so bad that her team pulled her away. Y'all heard what Brett Baer said. Her team was signaling like, stop, that's it. The man had more questions to ask. And then the thing about it, you can tell Kamala was ready to go, because even if Brett Baer said, hey, your team is flagging me, why she didn't say, y'all don't worry, I'm finna answer these questions because I really need these votes. Let me answer these questions. She was ready to go. If that would have happened on, and you see that never happens over there on The View where Whoopi Gold heard them happen. It never happened over there because they don't give her any pushback. They let her say whatever she wants. So her team ain't signaling to stop. So she come over here where she getting tough questions, and now her team is signaling like, no, that's it. Because she was getting mad because she wasn't able to get away with the crap she get away with on them friendly networks. She had to answer questions. If you think that bad, she lucky. And I think Brett Baer did a fantastic job. But I guarantee you one thing, she ain't going to come back to Fox News. She going to go right on back over there to The View, CNN, where they going to be over there patting on her back. Oh, she did good. She went over there in a hostile environment. J.D. Vance been doing that. J.D. Vance been doing that when she was hiding for 5 weeks. J.D. Vance was going to CNN getting questioned. He sat down with Dana Bash. He sat down with all these people. So why they want to make it a big idea? Oh, she finally went to Fox News. She only came to Fox News because she's losing. If Kamala Harris was winning, she would have never came to Fox News. She would have never came to Fox News if she was winning. We all know that. J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, they've been going to hostile places, taking questions and answering them. This is her first time getting out of her bubble, and it went terribly wrong. Now you got CNN, MSNBC, they all over there crying. Oh, Brett Baer did her wrong. How did he do her wrong and she wasn't answering questions? He asked a question, and when he see that she wasn't answering it because she was getting the same word salad that she give them, and he will push back on it like, no, this is what happened, and he played tape to show what she said. So they trying to make it seem like Brett Baer did her wrong. It's just like, come on, man. But like I said, y'all let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.